born around 479 BC, into a well-off Athenian family. Socrates was the son of Sophroniscus, a stonemason, and his wife Phanerit, who worked as a wet nurse. He grew up in Athens, still healing from the devastation of the Greco-Persian Wars of the 480s BC, where Athens itself was sacked by the Iranians under their king, Xerxes I, and its people scattered to the four winds, an event which hung over Socrates' generation. The success of his father's business allowed Socrates to live a life free of financial worry, and he spent his time studying philosophy, music, and math. Two men who influenced his thought more than any others were Anaxagoras, an Ionian man who was the leader of natural philosophy, examining the origins and workings of the natural world and everything found within it. The other was Archelaus, a former pupil of Anaxagoras, who believed air was the element which bore creation. Both Anaxagoras and Archelaus were materialist thinkers who rejected belief in the Greek gods, instead favoring belief in an all-powerful intelligence known as the nous, or great mind unconcerned with the day-to-day activities of humans or the world at large. While adopting some of their views concerning ethics, Socrates did not adopt his mentor's views on the divine, retaining a belief in the Greek gods all of his life. What distinguished his belief from the average Athenian, however, was his willingness to admit he did not know for certain if the gods truly did exist. Understanding such things were outside the human mind's capacity to know. This agnosticism, the belief knowledge, can never be definitively known, extended to all aspects of life for Socrates, not simply in the religious realm. By day he worked as a stone carver. By night he studied whatever caught his fancy, accumulating a following of young men who, while never officially his students as Socrates never opened a school, came to see him as their mentor and master. While the youth of Athens saw in Socrates a role model, the elders of the city saw in him a troublemaker who openly denied traditions handed down from their forefathers, coming to see him as a threat to the city as a whole. In reality, Socrates did not outright reject the age-old traditions of his home, but instead questioned each one, examining them for merit, and taught others to do the same. For decades this was tolerated, though often, as recorded by Diogenes Laertius, Socrates received beatings by the elites and their lapdogs among the common masses who scorned his version of moral philosophy. These beatings did not deter Socrates, merely gave him the fire to continue his lessons. Unlike others, he never accepted payment for his teachings, believing it was his, God's given duty. He never understood how men could claim to have the truth and yet hold it ransom. To Socrates, it was the only true form of blasphemy he believed in. In 399 BC, the great teacher finally crossed the line when he made enemies of Mulattoes, Anitos, and Lycon, 3 men in the government at that time, brought up on charges of impiety and corrupting the youth. Socrates went through a one-day trial where he defended himself, pointing out the contradiction in being classed as an atheist while he said all knew he believed in the gods, but unlike most, he believed the gods to be all good, not spiteful, like their human creations. When asked about his daimon, a spirit whom he had heard all his life, and which guided him, Socrates said he believed it came from the gods. To the corruption charges, he denied them, stating he never corrupted anyone on purpose, as doing so only results in the corrupter losing their own soul. His words fell on deaf ears. He was sentenced to death, Mulattoes and his comrades ordering Socrates to drink a cup of hemlock. Taken back to his prison cell, the great philosopher spent his last day in contemplation. Some of his students, among them Plato, his future biographer and a noted philosopher in his own right, visited him there and begged their mentor to attempt an escape. Socrates refused. He would face his death with dignity. The following morning, a guard brought him the cup, and Socrates duly drank it, paralysis quickly setting in on his legs and working its way up his body. Within an hour, Socrates was gone.